Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Relations with Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Viveka-Chudamani, verse number 27. The topic of qualifications of an aspirant for attaining liberation. That topic continues. Just to give you a brief reiteration, there are four qualities. First is Vivek, discriminative intellect. Vivek is the most prominent energy, divine energy in every individual being. It's intellect that radiates divine energy. Intellect that is free of the pressure of ego. This point I elaborated yesterday. Life must be lived in the light of Viveka. But this is very advanced guidance. But all the time there is a need for exercising your reason. And as you advance in a spiritual way, the process becomes very simple. It's like when you have flashlight in your hand, you don't have to worry about what is where, just use the flashlight. So the process becomes simple. Vivek is always presented by Hamsa. Soham Hamsa Paramhamsa. Sanskrit words have their speciality. Soham means I am that. Turn it around, it becomes Hamsa. Now, we may not remember Hamsa, so the sages say, look at the swan. It also flies. Not confined to anything limited. So that is where your Soham is pointing to. Even the simile of swan is very limited. Certain qualities are attributed to swan. Swan, you mix up milk and water. A swan will take the milk, leave the water behind. Don't start trying it. Because these are all similes. So, when your intellect becomes like a swan, everything in the world is a mix-up, real and unreal. In different ways, everywhere you have to use your discerning intellect. Though it is used in every plane, greatest role of discerning intellect in the plane of your mind. Mind when it is not distracted. We study mind in two aspects. Mind that holds attachment, hatred, and are very closely knitted to ego. mind-ego blend. That cannot resolve your problems. That mind keeps you under stress constantly. But what you deal with through your mind is like milk and water blended together, a kind of amalgamated milk. The intellect, when it is purified, it separates. Your mind holds the illusions of attachment, hatred, impressions of pairs of opposites, gain, loss, praise, censure, pain, pleasure. Mind is so filled with these that reality is squeezed by them. So reality is like the light of the sun. But as the light of the sun pours through the clouds, as if that light has been squeezed, all that you get is diffused light. So in the mind, you have diffused light. Diffused light is unable to separate reality from falsehood. But in Viveka level, you are seeking to go beyond your raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred, beyond your ego. And that is the highlight of Vedanta, practice of Vedanta. Because nothing can be accomplished with a mind laden with ego and ramifications of ego. But if you were to take advantage of Viveka Shakti within you, invoke the clarity of intellect, and allow your life to be led in that light, that will become a powerful change in your personality. So Vivek, Vairagya. Vairagya is dispassion. As I have explained that the entire universe, from a blade to the heights of the world of the Creator, Brahmaloka, all this is in the realm of thought waves, vrittis. All these are like projections on a screen. If you are addicted to cinema, you live for it. You always look for what program is going on. If you are have a childlike mind, then childish mind, then you would expect cinema to go on and on and on, and you involve yourself in the story. Your soul becomes childish, looking for permanency in a world that moves like projections. And that concept of projection and time and space, that as your mind advances, you get more and more depth into that understanding. In your dream, for example, all your dream experience is projection. But projections in a dream are little more flexible, quick moving. But projections in the waking state, that's not so. And yet they are projections of the mind. Cinema within a cinema, projection within a projection. Vairagya refers to developing a profound disinterest in the world that is revealed to you through your senses and through your conditioned mind. That world, no matter how best you are, no matter how privileged you are, how fortunate you are, that world slips away from your fingers. And sometimes your fingers slip away before anything else. Therefore, Vairagya. Vairagya is not a sentimental quality to hammer upon the mind, oh alas, all this will go away from me. How long can I hold on to all things? And you count your days, how many more years are left, and feel miserable within yourself. That is not Vairagya. Vairagya is, I am the sky. Why have I been mixed up with those patches of blue? From the point of view of patches of blue, there's tremendous chaos. You never know what's going to happen. Patches of blue means a sky that is limited by clouds. That sky, which is as a portion of the cloud, has developed illusion about its identity. One day it sees itself expanding. It is also happy. Another day it sees itself being choked. However, it doesn't know that all the time it is the sky, the same one that is supporting all its chokers. The sky that supports all the clouds, all the storms, all the winds. So Vairagya refers to regaining your sky-like nature, essential nature, and moving away from cloud-like state. And it has the source of immense power and joy. So therefore, true Vairagya brings strength, not a state of dejection and sorrow. The general idea is when you see someone miserable, especially by the Himalayas, by the banks of the Ganges, so what a Vairagi. He's a man of tremendous dispassion. So wonderful sun rises there, he doesn't want to enjoy it. Then sixfold treasure, Shat Sampat, serenity, mind that is allowing the light of intellect to flow, suspending your stress, your problems arising out of egoism, raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred, likes, dislikes, suspending all, allowing your intellect to flow. And if it does, you realize that you have nothing to complain against anything. Because that intellect gives you insight into omniscience of God. You are sustained by God. Doesn't God know your problems? He is omniscient. Another, you may think, well, he may know my problem, but he may not have the strength to remove it. So many things in the world, anybody can get confused. The other part is omnipotent. So if light of intellect begins to brighten up you develop certain qualities like serenity. Serenity is the foremost quality. Not to become upset. All these you must realize they are great ideals. Just like people walk into a room and they read Vedic verses. The attainment of what they say is very advanced. It will take time. But nevertheless, you enjoy. Much in the same way, you create in your mental firmament, in the firmament of your heart, a hall. Tag it with all these statements. Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampat. So serenity, Dhamma, control of senses. Control of senses is allowing your intellect to utilize your senses. While disciplining it, we use the term nigraha and samyama. Nigraha means shut out the senses. For example, whenever you speak something, your words create trouble to you and trouble to others. So you develop a resolve. I will not talk for 24 hours. I will not talk for certain day or for so many days. People practice Mauna Vrata. But that's a means to an end. It is not an end itself. Another ideal is that to have the ability to be Mauna whenever you feel like. You realize certain situation will create problem. You order your mind, Mauna, this is the time, silence. And there is an opportunity where you have to eloquent, explain what you have to say, without fumbling, without tumbling. So you utilizing your speech under full control of your reason, that's the ideal. Then your speech gains a special power. All these faculties are divine in human being. When you utilize them in a profound way, God looks at it and says, oh, he touches it. It gains a special power. So even unwittingly you say something, it becomes true. Naturally you will not say something which is negative. Therefore people seek blessings of sages. So Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, which I have explained, your karma should not move towards karmic entanglement. You should learn the art of achieving purity of heart through your action. Next, titiksha. Learn to endure. It is a blend of several qualities. Firstly, it is endurance. Next, it is patience. It involves perseverance. You have taken a trip, you have gone a long distance, and suddenly you become fed up. I can't find the destination. And that fedding up state comes only one furlong away from the goal. You come back, and again later you do the same thing, until you realize that you are coming very close to the goal. Patience. And a major aspect of the tiksha is forbearance. It also includes kshama, forgiveness. Do not hold in your mind the idea that I have forgiven people, and count on your fingers how many. Also you feel a sense of holding on to some burden on your head. How many things you have forgiven. In the beginning stage it is better to have that mind. At least you are forgiving. But to be really forgiving, you should not have even the idea, I have forgiven. If that idea comes, God through you is operating. If your hand suddenly slaps your face, sometimes it does. What else can you do but to forgive it? And you don't write down in your diary. The first thing I did to that nasty hand of mine, I forgave it. Extend that idea to the whole world. As the innermost self within you, the entire world is the body of the self. Souls led by karmas come into different conjunctions. Think of souls that have been wandering in different areas. Now, karmically, they have become your children. Now you can easily forgive them, easily develop tremendous tenderness towards them. But nature is just trying to tell you, you have the compassion, you have the tenderness. Try to develop it. Let it enfold the entire universe. Nothing should be out of it. That again becomes the goal. So that's one point is important to understand. When you study Vedantic philosophy, unlike the study of Western philosophical systems, Vedantic philosophy deals with the highest, dazzling heights of attainment and allows your mind to become fascinated by it. Then your life gradually takes its own course. So coming back again, Shama, serenity, Dhamma, controlling the senses, Uparati, not being involved with karmic results or in entanglements of karma. Titiksha, endurance, forbearance, forgiveness. Shraddha, faith. Faith is sleeping in every individual. Come into the world with faith. You look up to the face of your mother as a baby with tremendous faith. No question. Is this the right one or not? And vice versa, mother also has the same faith. That faith you explore, unfold, develop. Gita gives you more details. faith can be tamasic. You suddenly got an idea. Early in the morning you looked at a monkey and the day became worse. So you got this idea got stuck in your mind. Monkey is inauspicious. There's a humorous parable. King Akbar once, from a higher upper story of his palace, looked through and saw a laborer working hard. Somehow his mind became a little negative looking at that person. He wanted to see something more sublime and grand. He seeing someone miserable, struggling hard. The whole day, for some reason, became bad for him. So towards the afternoon he called Birbal and he said, "You should have that man hanged, because that's the old style punishment." Why? Birbal said, "Because it's very inauspicious. Because I saw him in the morning and he also looked up to me. There's a double inauspiciousness." And remember how many things have gone wrong because of that one little inauspicious personality. He should be eliminated for the good of the world. Birbal said, "Are you very sure? You mean it? Now tell me, Your Majesty, who is more inauspicious? He saw you, you saw him. He saw you and he is going to be killed. You saw him and only your day has become little upside down. According to your royal judgment, you are the target." Doctor kept quiet. He said, "That's why I keep you as my close minister." So what I was talking about, tamasic shraddha, tamasic faith develops in people. There are many people who are surprised. They develop some strange. I've heard of some people, they will not study that Sundarkand where Hanuman burns down Lanka. Because when they were studying it, fire emerged in the locality. They may go through all the Ramayana, but not that area. There's also belief that if you read Mahabharata, you are going to get into big trouble. Because very close relatives, they will create misunderstanding. Someone recently said, they had the same experience with Yoga Vasishtha. They will listen to Vedanta given by now the Viveka-Chudamani. The same one if I say through Yoga Vasishtha, shut the ears. All these are acts of faith, but tamasic, negative. There is rajasic faith. Faith to the extent you can get an object of desire. You lose your faith in a person if he can't give you what you want. Sattvic faith is something that goes on growing within yourself. You are born with it. You cannot eliminate it. Only the more you allow your mind to become clear and your heart purified, greater is the blossoming of that faith. And it's most powerful. And samadhan, samadhan I explained, the mind that doesn't find anything contradictory. The whole world is a vast treasure, and you are being enriched by everything around you. First, just look at the nose. You are getting the air. The breeze from the universe comes. Every moment it goes into your body, circulates the pranas, and makes millions of your cells thrilled. And you are not thrilled. If mind were to develop that level, you realize there is a perpetual situation of being thrilled. But thrilled not like sentimental type, it's profound. That's what's implied by the saying, Purnamadaha Purnamidam. The highest vision dawns within you, then the entire world is Purnam. The mind has no complaint. A wave maintains its wave-like existence. As wave-like existence, that's always a problem. But it has, with the same spontaneity, develops the understanding, I am the ocean. As ocean, there is no complaint. After all this, we come to the fourth quality. As this 27th verse. Ahamkaradi dehantan bandhan ajnana kalpitan swaswarupat tvabodhena bhoktumichham mukshuta. Swaswarupa vabodhena. All bondages from ego to body, etc., are illusory. This refers to 5 sheaths and 3 bodies. Sheaths are called koshas. Don't confuse with kosher foods. Your soul is like a sword that has been placed in a covering. That which covers the sword is called a sheath. Therefore, heroes unsheathed their sword. So you have to become a hero, a warrior. But this sheath has 5 layers, so you put out, brought the sword up, but still a sheath is there in it. And put again from the other sheath until all sheaths are separated. Just to give you a quick review of that, physical body, that's called food sheath, because food is what sustains your physical body. The body will not exist if there is no vitality, prana. The prana is the underlying sheath of your physical body. If you want to maintain your physical body in a good, healthy condition, gain insight into the prana. And that again is a vast topic which the world has touched only a little pinch of it. There are so many ways of allowing prana to be utilized. You can direct prana to people. Someone is feeling miserable, you try to point out some good points. Say some prayer, uplift the mind of the people. Few words sometimes can make a person change. Or sometimes saying nothing, the mental will. Prana can be directed. Unconsciously people do. If the child from your family goes somewhere, the mother says, I bless you, I will think of you, and my blessing will protect you. How can that be possible? There is a pranic link. And even the very idea of a person who is far away, having the idea that someone is sending out goodwill, allows his prana to perk up. I'm just leading you in a vast dimension. So prana, you can maintain high level of prana. You can disturb your prana, you can keep the prana in a low level. All is within your hands. Say, for example, there is a situation externally. Some little thing has dropped out of your desk, or a cup of tea has fallen down. You have choices. You can make yourself exceedingly angry. The blood rushes out into your eyes. Nobody wants to look at it. What have you done? Your own prana is creating lots of havoc within yourself, and you are not realizing it. The moment prana is agitated, your face reflects it. And when the prana calms down and is in balance, your face reflects it. So how closely you are knitted with prana, that we need to understand. And then prana itself is not the finality. Your prana is being manipulated by mind. Bring a joyous thought in your mind and prana perks up. Bring a dejected thought and prana becomes depressed. It doesn't know. It stops. There is a whole part of your body needs a supply of prana. But now you have created something in your mind that a whole crowd of group of prana that would have gone there is seated there for orders. So then, behind the pranic layer is your mental layer, mind. Behind the mental layer, even the mind has no finality. Intellect layer, called Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellect and ego together. That's your subtlest layer within your personality. There is another layer that you experience in deep sleep. That layer is not of practical nature. You can't use it. You can use up till the intellect layer. And if intellect were to become intuitional, then you control all other layers and enlighten the causal layer. So intellect holds the key to your liberation. So, studying the koshas, the sheaths, there are 5 sheaths. These 5 sheaths come in 3 groups, just like in a box. You have 3 compartments, and the middle compartment has 3 compartments. So altogether now find 5. Otherwise, 3 sections. So, physical body comes in the food sheath comes in physical body. That's first body. The subtle body contains prana, pranic sheath, mental sheath, intellect sheath. And the causal body contains only one sheath. Now, we are talking about mumukshutva, aspiration to attain liberation from all types of bondage. And bondages are all bondages relate to these 3 bodies, 5 sheaths. From ego down to body. All these are not you. You are identified with them. You are identified with your intellect, ego, vijnanamaya. Identified with your mind, with your pranas, and with your body. The identity goes on shifting, but you continue to be identified with the complex of body, mind, intellect, ego. If you have to go somewhere, meet someone, identity with the body becomes highlight. They have to be sure you are there, you see in the mirror. If you are hungry, identity with your vital body is highlighted. When you imagine, plan, build castles in the air, the mind becomes important. And when you are analyzing, reflecting, leading your mind to serenity, intellect becomes involved. You are identified with the intellect. And when you have crossed beyond all and you are relaxing within yourself, through a layer of ignorance, you are in the arms of the Absolute. You are identifying yourself with bliss sheath. It's a thin veil of ignorance through which bliss of Brahman oozes. If you break that veil and plunge into the ocean of bliss, you are liberated. But until then, you are identified with these, with bliss sheaths, with 3 bodies and 5 sheaths that I explained. All these identities are in the realm of bondage. And all these are kalpit, imaginary, illusory. Aspiration consists in intense desire to free oneself from all bondages. Bondages I described, all bondages. Aspiration, mumukshutva, is an intense desire. Desire term is poor. Aspiration, not ordinary desire. Ordinary desire is like charcoals. Aspiration is like diamond. The chemical analysis is the same, both is carbon. Intense desire to assert the freedom of the self. Self is always free. But illusion, due to illusion, you are identified, trapped by the 3 bodies. This is elaborated in the Puranas. This is Tripurasur, a demon that has 3 cities that harassed all gods, and Lord Shiva had to destroy that demon. Therefore he is called Tripurari, destroyer of the 3 cities, demoniac cities. And they are related to physical plane, the subtle plane, the causal plane. And they have also described it in a figurative way. The cities were iron, silver and gold. In Vijnana level, in intellect level, it's like pure gold. But still something that binds you. So this is mumukshutva. Developing a deep insight that you are trapped and you have become bonded to body, to your mind, to your deep unconscious. 3 types of ropes have secured you by your neck. Avidya, kama and karma. Avidya is ignorance. The deepest level has been trapped by the cord of avidya. Your subtle body is trapped by kama, desire. Your physical body is trapped by karma. They are called granthis, knots of the heart. You go on understanding how you have been tied up by 3 knots and how it would feel to become free. Your mind should not be thinking of it in an emotional way, because there is no role for emotions, because this is not the mental sheath, pure intellect. मंदमध्यम रूपापि वैराग्येण समाधिना प्रसादेन गुरोः सेयं प्रवृद्धा सूयते फलम्. Even if an aspirant may be dull or mediocre, his yearning for liberation through the grace of Guru will come to bear good result by means of vairagya, shama and so on. What the verse says, to have keen mumukshutva, that's very rare. And also the point is that you grow in a progressive manner. So if your aspiration is dull or mediocre, don't lose your heart. Approach a guru, come under his guidance, practice sadhana, listen to the teachings, reflect. Then from dull state you will come to mediocre state. A mediocre will become to intense state. It's better to be dull than nothing. It also gives you an idea of why aspirants come in different categories. Some can attain enlightenment fast, some take longer time. Upanishads also give an idea in a mathematical way. Those who are highly advanced, the Guru has to tell them Tattvamasi only once. Tattvamasi means thou art that. Those who are not so, Guru has to tell them many times. And those who are dull, the Guru has to tell them many times. The importance of receiving guidance, that's being suggested in this verse. And the very word Guru implies he who can illumine the cave of your heart. Gu is Guha, cave. Ru is the light. You have your own cave, but you don't know how to illuminate it. So approach a spiritual preceptor who helps you to move towards your own heart. And the spiritual preceptor says, be kind, be compassionate. The instruction comes from outside, but the attainment of kindness and compassion is yours. That you figure it out from your own cave of the heart. And when you figure it out, says it looks good, you say, lead me all more. How to become reflective, how to become a devotee of God, how to live in the world and be free of all worries, perfectly secure. All this great art needs to be learned, and Guru is the one who is allowing you to move towards that enlightenment. And with this we conclude. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.